Here comes Ed Koch. He is a cranky old dude from New York. He was, of course, the former mayor of New York on several occasions. Seemed like a likable old guy in the past. He's gotten a little bit more curmudgeonly since. Let's go to clip number 6 and find out what old friend Ed Koch thinks of Muslims.
Charles Krauthammer had a magnificent article, tough as nails, when he attacks the administration as thinking of it as a police action. This is not a police action. We're going to be at war for the next 30 years. We're afraid to call them Muslim Islamist terrorists. We'll call them anything but, because we don't want to alienate Muslim countries. That's ridiculous. Of course, the vast majority of Muslims, there are 1,400,000,000, are not terrorists, but there are hundreds of millions who are. They want to kill every Christian, every Jew, every Hindu who won't convert. And we ought to put it on the table. And when we put people through the lines, what do you want to take some little elderly woman who just came out of St. Patrick's and pat her down? Yeah, if you have time.
You're okay with, in this case, profiling?
Absolutely. Charles.
I like to think I'm the little old woman. She's like, yeah, if I got time, I'm going to mess her up too, okay? But I don't have time. I got all these Muslims to hound. Okay, look, we're kidding around, but what he said there was terrible. I mean, put everything else aside. He just claimed there were hundreds of millions of Muslim terrorists. Hundreds of millions? Where the hell did you get that number from, Koch? What he's saying is, look, I guess not every Muslim's a terrorist, but damn close. Now, look, here's what people don't get. People say, okay, look, you got to understand, most of these guys are Muslims. So we are right to suspect Muslims. I get that, okay? It's not like, I don't get it, I don't understand. Yeah, right, look, that guy was a Muslim. The guy who did the Fort Hood shooting was a Muslim. The guys that did 9/11 are Muslims. Okay, it's not like that escapes us, right? The question is, what do you do with that information? And if if Muslims were a tiny tribe on a Pacific island, it might suck to, single all of them out, and it might not be the right thing philosophically, on principle, etc. But maybe you do it, and you do an extra search. Okay, there's 20,000 of them in the planet. Okay, we're going to do a little extra search on those 20,000, and we hate to nag them because 99% of them are probably innocent, but what can you do, right? But there are over 1 billion Muslims. Now, 99.999% of them are not terrorists, etc., etc. So, one, as a matter of being practical, I mean, there are hundreds of millions of Muslims in Indonesia, in Pakistan, in India, in Turkey, in Jordan. I mean, what are you going to do? You're going to take all these people, and they can't travel anymore, or every time they travel, they have to go through extra process. Some say are patting them down. Some say strip search them at airports. All of them? It's like they don't get it. To them, it's something foreign. It's not like, hey, a Muslim is like somebody's grandma or somebody's mother or my mom or your grandmother, right? It's not personal for them. It's them. Muslims are some scary foreign thing, and I don't, and they're the ones that do the bombings, so let's just go and discriminate against them. Who cares? Who cares? Yeah, okay, 1 billion of them are innocent. Who cares? Okay? You see the 10, 20, 100, 1,000, 2,000, 10,000 of them are guilty, so let's go after over 1 billion of them. You can't do it. You can't do it on a practical level. You certainly shouldn't do it on a principle level. It's not right, man. And, it sickens me that we've gotten to the point where we have to explain this. Look, let me do one more thing so people hopefully understand a little bit better. There's over 1 billion Catholics in the world. Remember when the IRA was doing the bombings, and those were Catholic bombings? If at that point you had said, all right, you know what, that's it, Catholics are no good, okay, they're suspects, and we need to strip search all Catholics in the world. Now in America, that would have never flown. I mean, and you say, hey, you know what, that's not right, because what does a Catholic in Italy have anything to do with what's going on in Ireland? Okay, first of all, I agree with you. And a Catholic in Indonesia or in India or in Russia, wherever, is going to say, what the hell do I have to do with these guys? I don't like these guys. These guys wind up killing more Muslims than anyone else, right? So first of all, that's a problem. Then second of all, imagine if you said at the time, well, look, you're right. The Catholics in Norway or Italy, we got to leave them alone. They got nothing to do with this. But Irish Catholics, that's it. They're all targeted now. What would have happened in this country if we'd done that? People would have lost it. Lost it. Lost it. There's no way Irish Catholics would have been targeted out and said, okay, yeah, that's it, man. They get extra scrutiny, man. Strip search all the Irish Catholics if you need to. You know, the Kennedys are going through the airport. Come on, bring them in. Okay, et cetera, et cetera. You know it wouldn't have happened. But Muslim seems foreign. It seems strange, and people don't understand it. They can't relate to it. They apparently don't have any Muslim friends, so they think, sad day for them. Okay, let's target them. And look, here is problem number 3, which is that you're going to create more terrorists than you're going to alleviate. Do you understand what I'm saying? Because if you target Muslims and you say, America is now against Islam, we don't trust any of you, okay? We don't trust your grandmother, we don't trust your great sweet uncle, we don't trust any of you, right? And we're going to go through all this extra things and we got our eye on you, okay? Well, then Muslims are not going to trust you, and they're not going to like you, and it's still not going to affect 99% of them, but for that 1% that is susceptible to nonsense, to fundamentalism, there's going to be someone waiting there going, oh, you see that? You see how the Americans hate you. And you see how they're at war against Islam. Here, join the fight. We'll show you how to fight back. That's what we're trying to prevent. You don't want to create more terrorists. You don't want to give those fundamentalists an opportunity, a breeding ground to grab more people. These actions that are proposed by Ed Koch and all the other right-wingers are counterproductive. Listen, you got to understand. Okay, so look, people might say, hey, Jake, you're biased here because you were born Muslim, right? Born into a Muslim family, your family's Muslim, okay? First of all, you're right, okay? Because I know my mom's a sweet lady. My sister's lovely. My aunt is heavenly. They're not going to bomb anyone. And neither are my uncles, neither is my dad, neither is my cousins. I know, okay? So, but you don't know them. So you think, Muslims, right? That's point number 1. So you want to call me biased for that? Okay, I'm biased because I know that Muslims are just like everyone else. Okay? Point number 2 is, look, we go on the planes. You think I want to take a plane with a fundamentalist Muslim with a bomb in his underwear? I don't want to go on that plane. I want to make sure they don't get that. They catch the guy and they don't waste their time making things counterproductive so that there are more of them. Look, no one's more against fundamentalist Islam than I am. I left Islam. I just don't believe it, right? Let alone fundamentalist Islam is madness. Madness, okay? Please stop making it worse. And what Ed Koch just said there makes it 100 times worse.